Hi everyone, my name is Christina Del Rey and I am an astrologer, a tarot card reader, and an ordained minister. On this channel we talk about spirituality, astrology, tarot cards, and enlightenment. If this interests you, please hit the subscribe button below. So May is a super important month in astrology this year. There's a lot going on. We have an eclipse at the end of the month. It's super important because this is the beginning of eclipse season and it's going to be the beginning of changes for many people. And for those of you that don't really know about eclipses, they are like they can be like a full moon or a new moon, but in this case it's going to be a full moon, but it's like 10 times the strength of a full moon. So when we have an eclipse, it usually ushers in change very quickly, especially if your chart is triggered. So this month we have Venus going into Gemini, Mercury going into Gemini. We have a new moon on the 11th. We have at the end of the month the eclipse on the 26th. Okay, so it's a very intense full moon, and eclipses are fulfillment, culmination, some kind of emotional ending, or maybe even like a high point of some kind. So you'll notice the intensity of the energies around that time, and that is only one of 4 eclipses that we are having this year. If you want to check out my yearly forecast, I talk about all of them, so I can link that down below. But for now, we're going to talk about the eclipse and kind of some of the things that you might that might foreshadow for the start of eclipse season and what it will be by the end. Okay, let's see where this falls in the chart for you. Hello Aries. So this month we have Mercury and Venus entering into Gemini. So we're moving from Taurus to Gemini, and for you this is moving into your 3rd house of communications. So it is likely that you might have some kind of romantic communications, could possibly be over social media, could be somebody in your neighborhood, but this area rules siblings, cousins, neighbors. It also rules communications, and it rules short distance travel. So whenever Venus moves into this part of the sky, it makes it nicer. And this part of the sky can be internet, social media. So it's possible, if you are interested, if you have if you're interested in a love interest or finding somebody, finding a relationship, that this would be a good mode right now, either in your neighborhood or on social media of some kind. And Mercury being there means you're going to be talking and talking a lot. This part of the sky too also rules skills that we learn. So you might be talking a lot about skills that you learn, or you might feel more confident about the skills that you're learning, or maybe you're going to impress somebody with these skills. But nonetheless, it's going to make that house nicer for you. And then we have on May 11th, we have the new moon in Taurus. So Taurus is money, and it's also values. And this is a new moon, so new beginning. And this is falling in a part of the chart for you that has to do with money, in a money house, the sign of money. So this is really good for you financially. You are probably going to either start a new job or start a new stream of income. But this moon is trine Neptune, and Neptune is in Pisces, so that's the 12th house. So if you are working behind the scenes in any way, or if you are working in a spiritual field, this would be fantastic for you, perhaps a new stream of income there. But whatever it is, if it's creative, musical, or spiritual, or even just something behind the scenes, I really don't see how you can go wrong, because this is in harmony. So maybe you're taking something from the past, because 12th house is also past. maybe you're taking something from the past and you are making money with it now, or you are changing your values from the past, and that is leading you to make more money. But whatever this is a really nice new moon, so I would set my intentions, and I would do like a little, like a right before the full moon, maybe on the 10th, I would just, read it over, maybe do a little meditation and let the universe handle it. And then we have, on the same day, we have Mars sextile Uranus. And I think this is really wonderful because Mars is in Cancer, which has to do with home and family for you. And Uranus is in that second house. So you could be taking action on your new values, or you could be taking action on freedom in making money, which maybe might have to do with like a side business, or maybe, whatever job that you are getting or what job you are doing, you have more freedom in it. And this means maybe that you are taking action in the home, and maybe there's an opportunity to make money at home, or there's something you can do at home, or with real estate to make money. So this is like a beautiful time. So I would definitely take advantage of that. And around this new moon too, Mercury is going to be conjunct the North Node in Gemini. So it's almost like you get a communication or a message about what's coming in the future. And you might not realize it just then, but it's like it's giving you like a foreshadowing of what's coming. So just pay attention. So the reason I tell you to pay attention to this is because I think you're getting a preview of what the eclipse is about in June. Now we have one in May, but we also have one in the same part of the sky as Venus and Mercury are in the North Node in June. So I feel like this is going to give you a preview of what's to come. Now on May 26th, still this month, we have a lunar eclipse. It's in Sagittarius. And for you, this is going to be in the 9th house. Now, what is the 9th house? It has to do with spirituality. It has to do with legal matters. It has to do with higher education. And it has to do with philosophies. So, Sagittarius really has to do with your beliefs, your truth, your philosophies, and your patterns. So, something is changing for you. Either it is the truth that is changing for you, or your philosophy is changing, but something is coming to a culmination or a high point. Perhaps some of you are graduating. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's an ending to a legal matter. But whatever this is, it's changing forever. And while this is happening, we have Saturn a few days later, actually a few days before, going retrograde. And to me, this says that now Saturn is all about following the rules, and Saturn is in a part of the chart for you that has to do with networking and hopes, wishes, and dreams. So whatever this lunar eclipse is for you, I think is going to be connected to Saturn and the life lessons that you're learning in that area. And then at the end of the month, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 29th. So Mercury is going to retrograde in your 3rd house. So again, you're reviewing your communications, you're reviewing your skills. You might even be studying for something. Maybe you're studying for a test. Maybe you're studying for, the skills that you are learning. You might be communicating with somebody from the past. Mercury retrograde is known for bringing people back from the past, but you're kind of reconnecting, recommunicating. Maybe there's some confusion there a little bit too, but overall, you're going to be rethinking maybe how you think too, because this is the area of how you think, and maybe even how you think about romance, because Venus is there too. Okay, so I think that it will be a great month. Please let me know how the eclipse plays out for you. Hello, Taurus. So Taurus, what is going on for the month of May for you? Well, it's a huge deal because May is your new moon. So you get one a year, and it's a really good one this year. So definitely do your new moon, intentions. Let the universe handle it. Read it over. But this is an eclipse month too. So you not only have a new moon, but you also have an eclipse this month. So very important month for you. In the beginning of the month, Mercury will go into Gemini, and so will Venus. This is happening in your second house. So when this happens, money opportunities come. So take advantage of any money opportunities that come your way. It could have to do with travel or speaking, but generally when Venus comes into the second house, and your second house has to do with how you earn income. So this is harmonious and makes money come to you, almost like you can draw it to you. So definitely setting those intentions right now will be great. And that happens on the 8th. And then we have the new moon on the 11th. So the new moon is in your first house, and new moon is new beginnings. So what new beginnings are you starting about yourself, about your body? It could be your exercise regimen, or maybe you're starting a new way to view yourself. Maybe you're starting to get healthier. Maybe other people are going to view you differently. But there's new beginnings here. Sometimes this can even be like a makeover or like a glow up, I guess. But this would probably be a good time to do that because this new moon is trine Neptune in Pisces. So you could kind of go somewhere and have a dreamy experience, perhaps with a friend. Maybe you could go get a glow up with a friend. That would be awesome. Or even a romantic partner. You could go get a massage. But this looks like really beautiful and even romantic, possibly energy. Maybe even could meet somebody that you think is just really great if you are looking for that, if you're looking to date. But I would definitely set my intentions for money, romance. This is your new moon, so take advantage of it. And then on the same day, we have Mars sextiling Uranus. So for you, this is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with communications. And Uranus is still in your sign, kind of shaking up, how the world sees you. And I think this is really good action to take to show how you communicate to the world, or to show your uniqueness to the world, like show them what is special about you. So this is a big new moon because you can make a lot of gains here in your freedom, in your expression, in money. This is an excellent full moon for you, Taurus. I'm very excited. And then Mercury is going to meet the North Node in Gemini as well in that second house. So it's almost like you get a glimpse into the future. You may not realize it, but just pay attention because you're going to have an eclipse in this part of the sky in June. So there's more to come. There's more to come in this money and values area for you. Excellent year for you. And we want to go to the 26th of May. And this is a lunar eclipse. So this lunar eclipse is also happening in a part of the sky that has to do with money for you. This is also the place of deep psychological matters. It's also the psyche. It has to do with metaphysical and occult things as well. And it has to do with joint finances. Any kind of money that is passive income, or money that you have with a partner, or anything that you own with a partner, any kind of income like that. And because there is a lunar eclipse here, it means something in this area is changing over this year. Now, this could be your belief system, could be changing here, some kind of truth that you've always known about your, about your joint income or your passive income could be changing now. It will likely have either a fulfillment, so it could be, you know, something coming to fruition, or it could be an ending of something. So there could be an ending of a joint finance, or there could be an ending of some kind of passive income as well. It's very hard to predict with a lunar eclipse. It can go either way. And it will change, no doubt. This can also be because this is the house of like psychological matters too. This could be something coming to a culmination there as well. Maybe you are doing shadow work and you're making some kind of breakthroughs there. So there could be a variety of things going on here. And then on the 23rd, we have Saturn going retrograde. And that is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your 10th house. So very important to follow the rules. When Saturn goes retrograde, we're going to feel it that much more. So being in your 10th house, that's going to have to do with bosses, authority figures. So, you know, you might feel like you really are under a lot of rules. You have to do everything very by the book. And you might not feel so free. You know, you might feel like, oh, you know, I can't do what I want to do. But it's worth it. It'll pay off in the long run. So just do everything by the book. And then on the 29th, we have Mercury going retrograde. And that is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with finances again. So maybe you're re-looking at your finances, or you're re-looking at how you make money. But never start anything new during Mercury retrograde, but it's okay to go over things that, you know, you have started in the past. And there could be some confusion there too. But overall, I think that this will be a good month as long as you are okay with changes and you are embracing the moment in front of you. And Saturn going retrograde in that 10th house really has to do with you taking responsibility in your work or in your status. So I would pay attention to that, because you might really be feeling that. And Saturn always feels like a blockage, and it does block, but it's usually temporarily, so that you can learn something, so that you can burn some karma off, but it will be worth the lesson that you learn in the end. Okay, Taurus, great month for you. Hello, Gemini. So this month we have an eclipse. But first, let's talk about Venus and Mercury going into your sign. And Venus arrives in your sign on the 8th of May and stays there until June 2nd. And this is a really wonderful time for you, because whenever Venus goes into your sign, you are more attractive. People enjoy listening to you, being around you. You kind of magnetize people to you. And Venus is money too. So, you know, maybe there's opportunities and money just kind of seems to come to you. And it could be through communications, because Mercury is there too. So very good time for you in how you are seen by others. If you are trying to attract a relationship right now, this would be an excellent time to do that with Venus in your sign. And then we have a new moon in Taurus on May 11th. And this new moon is going to be in a part of the chart that has to do with being behind the scenes or spirituality. This is also the house of mediumship. This can have to do with therapy as well, karmic endings. So there could be a new beginning in one of these areas. Maybe it has to do with, you know, you've finished a cycle, a karmic cycle, and now you are beginning a new cycle. If you're working at all behind the scenes and starting something new, that's possible as well. Or maybe you're starting a new spiritual practice like meditation, or, you know, connecting with your spirit guides. But this new moon is connected to your career area. So if you are doing anything spiritual, if you are connecting the new moon, so new beginnings in Taurus is money or values, and if you are connecting that to your career area, this is a really good new beginning for you. Anything spiritual, anything creative, musical. This is really wonderful energy for all of that. And this would be a great time to ask your spirit guides for help as well. Because with the new moon there, you would be very, and then Neptune and Pisces, you would be very in touch with your spirit guides. They may help you in the dream space as well. You might get a message through a dream at this time, and it might help you manifest whatever you're trying to manifest in that area. Mars, the same day that we have the new moon, Mars sextiles Uranus. So this is opportunity energy. So we have Mars in the second house, which is money, and we have it making a sextile to Uranus, which is also in your 12th house. So we're talking about technology here. We're talking about spirituality. We're talking about behind the scenes. So if you take action in how you make money, or maybe even your values, like this could really be nice for you. This could bring in more money for you. Now, when Mars is in that part of the chart, it can be money going out or money coming in. But I really kind of see this as money, taking action on money coming in if you're strategic enough. Okay, so, and also too, the same day we have Mercury meeting the North Node in Gemini. So I feel like this is a message about your future because the nodes are in your sign right now. The North Node is in your first house. So that has to do with you. And with Mercury there, it's almost like you get a message about where you're going. And it's almost like a little preview to the month to June because you're going to have an eclipse in your first house. So that's major changes on you or how you're seen or the body. So you want to pay attention to any messages that you get, any little clues, because it's a big year for you, Gemini. There's eclipses in your sign, so very important. Okay, so then we have on the 26th, that's when we have the lunar eclipse. And the lunar eclipse is a culmination, a high point. It has to do with fulfillment or an ending. It has to do with a culmination, a high point, something dramatic. But eclipses change things pretty much forever. You don't really get to go back on an eclipse. It's just, it changes things, and it's Sagittarius is truth. And once you know the truth, you can't go back. Can't go back to not knowing. That is just how it works, right? So it could be that a truth is changing for you in the area of relationships or business partnerships. And this can also be contracts too. So there could be a culmination of a contract or a relationship or an ending here somewhere, or maybe the end of a business partnership or a culmination of a business partnership. So lunar eclipse kind of can go either way. It can be an ending or it can be a fulfillment as well. So it's really hard to know. And then on the 23rd, we have Saturn going retrograde. So Saturn going retrograde is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with education, higher education. It has to do with broadcasting. It has to do with philosophies. It has to do with long distance travel. And when Saturn's stationed in the sky, we might feel like a blockage, or we might feel like we have a lot of responsibility in this part of the chart, or that, we have karma to burn here and there's rules that we have to follow. So you're going to have to, kind of adult here. Saturn is the planet of adulting. You might have a lot of responsibilities. You have to play by the rules. That's important with Saturn, but it's worth it. Down the line when it leaves, Aquarius, that work that you put in is going to pay off as long as you were ethical. Ethics are very important with Saturn. And lastly, we have Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your planet, so it's always good times for you in your first house. So that doesn't happen until the 29th, but this is the best time to redo. So because it's in your first house, redo you. redo how you look, redo how you communicate, redo how you are seen, and just redo your body. But perfect timing for that. Don't start anything new. But if you're revamping something, that's okay during Mercury retrograde. And always to slow down too. Mercury retrograde always wants us to slow down. Okay, so I think it'll be an interesting month, Gemini. Can't wait to hear about it. Hello, Cancer. We start out the month with Venus moving into Gemini and Mercury moving into Gemini. And it's moving into a part of the chart for you that has to do with spirituality. It also has to do with karmic patterns. So there could be a relationship karmic pattern that needs to be addressed, maybe in therapy. This could be, perhaps you're recognizing some of your patterns, past patterns. Venus in this part of the chart could have to do with messages from the other side as well. So it's possible now that you could get a communication in a dream about something, maybe spiritually related. Maybe it has to do with your patterns, relationship patterns as well. And we have endings and new beginnings here. So whatever's ending Venus-wise. So Venus is talents and relationships. Whatever is ending there is where you could be getting the communication, or you could be going to therapy and talking about this as well and trying to heal this. Also, too, this is really good for spiritual development as well. So when Venus enters any house, it always brings harmony and it just makes it nicer. So spending time alone might be really nice now. Communicating with spirit might be really nice now. You might be able to make a lot of progress in meditation. Okay, and then we have the new moon on May 11th. And this new moon is in Taurus. So for you, this is happening in a part of the chart that has to do with friends, acquaintances, networking. It also has to do with hopes, wishes, and dreams. So there might be a new cycle starting for you on your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Or maybe you're networking with different people now. Or maybe you're just beginning to network with different people. But I would set my intentions to have a high vibrational group of people. And the same day, Mars is going to be sextile Uranus. So this could be you taking actions, because Mars is in your sign right now. You could be taking actions on yourself and hanging out with a new group of people, or maybe, actions on new hopes, wishes, and dreams. Or maybe you're taking actions on networking with a new group of people. And like I said, you want to make sure they're high vibrational. You want to make sure that they are, going to meet where you are on a vibrational level. You don't want to, they always say that, who you hang out with is who you become. So if you are looking to connect with a group of people, you want to make sure that it's the type of people that you want to emulate or you want to be like. Okay, and then we have and then that same day too, like right around the same time, we have Mercury and the North Node in Gemini. So Mercury meeting the North Node in your 12th house is like, I think it is a message about the future, and it might come. I don't know if you've ever watched myself and Ivy Rivera, but we do talk about mediumship in some of our services. But a lot of times when you get a mediumistic communication, it comes in your own voice, in your head, but it comes out of nowhere. And that's how you know it's not yours. That's how you know it came from spirit. So if this happens to you, just comes out of nowhere, then I would consider that a message and I would write it down, even if it seems like really crazy. And I think that you might be getting a glimpse of what's to come in June, because in June you're going to have an eclipse in that part of the sky. So there's karmic endings. Perhaps, something either is ending, there's a fulfillment, but you're getting a glimpse of something there. And it might have to do with your relationships, or it might have to do with your talents and abilities. Okay. So the lunar eclipse comes on the 26th, and that is happening for you in a part of the sky that has to do with your health and your day-to-day work environment. So we have Sagittarius, which is truth. So there's some kind of truth coming out. Maybe it's about a health-related matter. Maybe it has to do with your job or even your day-to-day routines. And it could be a fulfillment where, you're like, oh, my health is really good right now. This is great. This is really working for me. It could be a high point, or it could be that you have to make some changes in this area. But whatever this is, there does seem to be some kind of change. This also has to do with small pets too, if that includes you. So there might be some kind of something with a small pet. Okay. So please let me know in the comments what is changing for you. Now, on the 23rd, we have Saturn moving into retrograde. So Saturn standing still in the sky makes it like extra strong. Now, it will be standing at 13 degrees Aquarius. And for you, that is a part of the sky that has to do with joint money or joint finances. So or maybe even passive income, or it has to do with like husband's money, partner's money, also deep psychological stuff as well. So you want to, if you are in therapy, it's a great time to take responsibility for your thoughts, find a new way to work with them, start taking responsibility. Maybe you feel like there's a blockage there, but the blockage really has to do more with you doing the work that you need to do to get healthy. And it could be, because the eighth house is the psyche as well. So if you're having thoughts that are not healthy, it's like you have to do the work to get them healthy. And Saturn is rules, it's lessons, and you really have to go by the book and be ethical with Saturn. And I also want to say too that this is a house of money. So there could be it could look like there is like a blockage with money. But it's just temporary, because when Saturn is there, the money's there. It just kind of seems like it's not. So just trust. My advice is to trust the universe on this one. Be ethical. Adult where you have to. Get your mind right. And then on the 29th, we have Mercury going retrograde. So Mercury going retrograde in that 12th part of the sky for you, the 12th house part of the sky for you. So you have a lot going on internally. You might want a lot of alone time. Not everybody is going to have like a breakup or anything. If you are in a relationship, it's possible that you just want to hang out with your partner and you don't want to see the rest of the world. You just kind of want to go hide somewhere. This would probably be a really nice time to maybe go on a vacation, or somewhere where you can be alone with your partner. And I would say just having that alone time to bond would be really beneficial. Mercury retrograde is kind of recommunicating, redoing anything that has to do with that spiritual part of you or behind the scenes. So for you, if it's reconnecting with a partner, that would be a really good way to use this time. Okay, so I think it will be an interesting month. Please let me know what happens with that eclipse. Hello, Leo. So Leo, we have an eclipse this month in our 5th house. Super exciting. So this month we start out with Venus and Mercury in Gemini. So this is moving into a part of the chart for us that has to do with hopes, wishes, and dreams, networking, and the internet as well can be the 11th house, or like how we are seen on the internet. Hello, Leo. So Leo, we have an eclipse this month in our 5th house. Super exciting. So this month we start out with Venus and Mercury in Gemini. So this is moving into a part of the chart for us that has to do with hopes, wishes, and dreams, networking, and the internet as well can be the 11th house, or like how we are seen on the internet. So I would think with these two planets here, we would be seen nicely. Whenever Venus goes anywhere, it makes that house nicer. So perhaps we're being well received from the groups that we belong to, or maybe, on the internet, people are liking what they see maybe. We're also talking because Mercury is there, so we're talking a lot. Gemini, of course, is the sign of talking. So, talking, this can be in groups that we belong to too. So any kind of, it could be like any group, charity, all the way to friendship groups and acquaintances. And then on May 11th, we have the new moon. And the new moon is in Taurus, and it's at the top of our chart in our career sector. This is also our status sector. So this is how people know us in the world. So maybe people know you as husband or wife, or maybe they know you as teacher, nurse. Maybe they know you as, person who is really good at sewing, something like that. However you are known, that is where this new moon is. And a new moon is a new beginning. Taurus has to do with values and money. So I think this is very positive for us because it is positively linked to Neptune, which is in our house of joint income, mediumship, anything really with mediumship or astrology, the occult. It's also the house that has to do with therapy and the psyche. So if you are starting a new beginning on any of these things, this could be a really nice time for you. Maybe you are starting a new stream of income. Maybe you are starting a new beginning in therapy. Or maybe you're making, you're starting a new beginning and you're making gains in therapy. But whatever it is, it does seem to come easily to you. And then on the same day, we have Mars sextile Uranus. And that is going to be actions taken behind the scenes. And, when I say behind the scenes, it could be you behind the scenes, or it could be your angels and your spirit guides as well. But actions taken behind the scenes to free you from something. This could be an opportunity for freedom coming your way. It doesn't mean you have to take it, but it just means that there is an opportunity, perhaps behind the scenes, for you to do something that maybe leads to some kind of opportunity that frees you either in your status or your career. And it could be very positive for you. Okay. And we also have, right around that same time, we have Mercury meeting the North Node in Gemini. So it is likely that you are going to get a message about your future right around that new moon time. I would give or take like 2 days, and it's probably going to be a preview, because in June you will have a solar eclipse in this area, the same area. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to whatever messages you get, and it could be a message that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? You know what I mean? Then you don't give it any thought, but there could be something there that kind of foreshadows what's to come. So pay attention. So then on the 26th, we do have that lunar eclipse that I talked about in the beginning. The lunar eclipse is in our 5th house. So now the 5th house has to do with children. It has to do with romantic relationships, and it has to do with creative projects. So a lunar eclipse can be a fulfillment or an ending or a culmination or a high point of emotion. Now, it can be on any of those things. So a lunar eclipse can be an ending in a romantic partnership. It can be an ending of some kind of cycle for one of your children or your children. It can be it can bring an ending to a creative project. Maybe it's a fulfillment on a creative project. This is also the house of kind of hobbies and things like that, so and having fun. So there might be a culmination there, but you will see changes. An eclipse is really about change, and whatever changes come with the eclipse are usually permanent. Well, they are permanent. Whatever ends on an eclipse ends for good. So let me know how that affects you. Let me know in the comments below. And then on the 23rd, we will have Saturn going retrograde. And Saturn going retrograde is in another house that has to do with relationships. So this really has to do with maybe feeling blocked, or maybe feeling that you have to be very responsible or very serious. This can also have to do with contracts as well, because 7th house can be contracts. So there might be a contract that you have to really look at now, and you have to follow the rules, or there might be lessons here. There might be karma in this area, and because Saturn is there, there's some kind of adulting going on. So like you have to take responsibility in this area. And I should mention that because the lunar eclipse is in the romantic part and Saturn is in the relationship part, that these are probably connected. There's probably shifts going on in your relationships of some kind. This could be business partnership too. This can be like contract with a business partner maybe that you're looking at. But Saturn does feel like a blockage. But if you follow the rules and you're ethical, it usually pays off. Now, Mercury is going to go retrograde in a part of the sky, that part of the sky that had to do with, hopes, wishes, and dreams. It has to do with friendships, acquaintances, and broadcasting yourself out on the internet. Okay, so anything that you redo, you can reevaluate during Mercury retrograde. You can see if you can get a different point of view. You can, it's okay to anything, but just don't do anything new with Mercury retrograde. So you don't want to start a brand new group, say, during Mercury retrograde, unless it's something you started before and you're just kind of picking it up and doing it again. Sometimes Mercury retrograde can bring confusion. So, it could be that your internet doesn't work. It could be that you're miscommunicating with friendships, or you're not getting the right information, or there's some kind of mix-ups. But that is what Mercury retrograde is all about. It's really about slowing down, thinking about being present in the moment. Okay, Leo, it should be an interesting month for us. Hello, Virgo. So for the month of May, we start out with Venus and Mercury moving into your career sector. This is exciting because it probably means that your career gets more harmonious, or your status becomes nicer. And when Venus is in this part of the sky, bosses are really liking you. People are seeing you as beautiful. And you're communicating because Mercury is there, and Mercury is your planet. So people will like what they see when they see you communicating. This is a great time to get yourself out there, be seen with this energy. And we have a new moon on May 11th in Taurus. So Taurus is the sign of money. It's the sign of values and material things. So for you, this new moon is happening in a part of the sky that has to do with higher education, legal matters, philosophies, long distance travel. And so there's a new beginning here for you. Maybe your values are changing. Maybe you're getting money through, this new beginning that you are starting. And, with ninth house too, it doesn't always have to be travel anymore because we have the internet now. So you can kind of travel without traveling to other lands. But this new moon is trine Pisces, or trine Neptune in Pisces. So for you, that has to do with relationships and business partnerships. So if a business partnership pops up, definitely want to take advantage of that. Looks like a really good energy for that. And it's possible that you could meet somebody as well through whatever this new beginning is for you in this ninth house area of legal matters, higher education, philosophy, or travel, or not travel with the internet. Okay, so the same day we have Mars sextiling Uranus. So Mars is in a part of the sky that has to do with friends and groups we belong to. So taking actions there might actually free you in some way. And that's also a part of the sky that has to do with your hopes, wishes, and dreams. So maybe you're taking action on your hopes, wishes, and dreams, and that is freeing you in some way. It's giving you an opportunity for some kind of freedom. Whether that be in, a higher education setting, or whether that be in a philosophical way or your place in the world. But there might be an opportunity here for you. Okay. And then we have Mercury in Gemini conjunct the North Node. So again, it's almost like you're getting a glimpse or a message of what is to come with this career area. Because in June, we're going to have an eclipse in your 4th house. Your 10th house. So in June, we're going to have an eclipse in your 10th house. And that's a solar eclipse. So that will be a new beginning in your career area or in your status area. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the new moon with the new moon and Neptune, you could also meet a romantic partner as well, and it could be a long-lasting one with this energy. Okay, so pay attention. You might get a message about what is to come. It might just be something like a fleeting thought or what seems like your own thought, but it's not. But it might be like a foreshadowing of what's to come, because this is a big year for you. The eclipses are hitting your home and career axis. So big changes on the home front and the career front. Now, the lunar eclipse happens in your home area on the 26th. So there is likely to be a high point, a fulfillment, or an ending, or a culmination on something within the home or within real estate. Or this can be karmic too, because the fourth house represents like family lineage or the ancestors. So it could be something related to that too. But typically a lunar eclipse is an ending. So something seems to be ending in the home and family area. It doesn't have to be a bad change. It can be a very good change. But it will be brought to your attention, most likely. Okay. Then Saturn goes retrograde on the 23rd. And Saturn going retrograde kind of just makes us more aware of where he is. And for you, this is a part of the sky that has to do with your health and your daily regimens, your daily routine, your work routine, and probably a lot to do with health as well. So it's going to ask you, are you following the rules that you're supposed to be following with your health or your routine? You know, what is blocking you? How are you not being responsible, or are you being responsible in this area? And how are you going to take your health or your work routine and consolidate it and make it work for you? How are you going to make it, I want to say, like efficient? So you might be really focused on reorganizing that part of your chart on the 20, like right around the 23rd. And then at the end of the month, we have Mercury going retrograde on the 29th. So Mercury's in Gemini. So again, this has to do with your status. And Mercury is your planet, so it always affects you deeply when Mercury goes retrograde. So this is a time to slow down, to reevaluate your goals, reevaluate your career, reevaluate any career projects that you're working on. How are you thinking about your career? How are you thinking? What did you start in your career and status, and now you want to go back to and finish it? So you're going to be thinking all about that kind of stuff, and maybe even talking with someone and figuring out a different point of view on something. There could be communication issues with the internet too, because that is always seems to be a thing for you. But overall, I can't wait to hear how this eclipse affects you. So please let me know in the comments below. And stay tuned for next month when we talk about the next eclipse that's coming, which is a solar eclipse. All right, Virgo. Hello, Libra. So Libra, we have your planet Venus and we have Mercury both moving into a part of the sky for you that has to do with long distance travel, higher education. It also has to do with philosophy and legal matters. So if you are in a legal matter, it is likely that it could go well for you. So let's hope that that is the case. Money could come to you. Whenever Venus is here, it makes this part of the chart a little bit more pleasant. So if you are in a higher education setting, this might be where you look really good to a professor or to a boss. Also, you might be communicating about philosophies. You might be communicating about, you might be teaching about something. It's possible. And then on the 11th, we have the new moon, and that is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with joint income or passive income as well. And it also has to do with the psyche as well. So there is a new beginning here for you. And it could be, it could be something like you're going to go to therapy, you're going to begin a new cycle. But this could also be a new beginning on a new passive income that wasn't there before, but now you have an opportunity to earn more money. Or maybe it's a partner's money too. If you have a partner and maybe they are starting a new venture that is going to bring in more money for you. This new moon is actually trine Pisces, or trine Neptune and Pisces. So it's likely connected to your day-to-day work or health, but it might be a new passive, it might be some income that's coming in your day-to-day work. Or if it has to do with therapy and the psyche, it could be, you taking habits and integrating new habits, maybe even spiritual habits, into your daily practices that are going to make you a lot healthier. Okay. And the same day we have Mars sextile Uranus. So Mars is in a part of the chart that has to do with your career area, and Uranus is in that part of the chart that has to do with your passive income or the psyche. So it is possible that you could take some actions here on some money and might work out for you. There might be an opportunity along with that new moon. In fact, that both of these energies are happening on the same day makes it look good. So around the 11th, if somebody has, I wouldn't loan anybody money, but if somebody has an opportunity for you to make money, I would follow that, because that might work out really well for you. Okay. It could even, with Uranus being there too, it could even be like money that nobody else is touching, like you don't have to give it to anybody else. You don't have to, you're getting that, and you're not, it's like freeing you from maybe something else. Maybe, you have some kind of debt that you need to pay off, and this money might free you from that. Okay. And then on the 26th, we have a lunar eclipse. The lunar eclipse is a culmination or a fulfillment, an ending or a high point, often an emotional high point. And for you, it's happening in a part of the chart that has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors. It has to do with your thoughts. It has to do with how you communicate. And it also has to do with skills that you're learning. So there could be, an ending to a vocational program you're in, maybe. Or this could be an ending to maybe like something in your neighborhood that's going on. Maybe like something that you've known was true, but is not really true anymore, because Sagittarius has to do with truth and changing philosophies. So it's almost like your patterns, maybe of communication, are going to change. How you communicated in the past will not be how you communicate in the future. And right around that time too, we have Mercury and the North Node meeting. So it is possible that you could get a little glimpse of what's to come, because you will have an eclipse in the 9th house in June, and that'll be a new beginning. So you might get a clue to what that might be. right around that new moon time. But this eclipse will be change somehow in your communications or in your skills or in your neighborhood. Okay. And then Saturn goes retrograde on the 23rd, and there's probably, it's happening in the 5th house, so you might be getting serious with a partner, romantic partner, or, you know, you could have to, something with a child that you have, there might be some kind of rules that you have to instill. You know, there might be something going on where you kind of have to be the adult. You have to kind of adult in these matters. But it's likely that there's lessons here with children, romantic partners, or creative projects. If it's a creative project, maybe you have to step up and do something. You have to take responsibility for something. But it's definitely something that, you know, will pay off down the road. And then at the end of the month, on the 29th, we have Mercury going retrograde, again in that 9th house. So maybe you're rethinking philosophies, or you're rethinking your communication, or you're rethinking legal matters. But you don't want to start anything new with Mercury retrograde. You just kind of want to redo things. So anything connected to thinking or communicating is up for, you know, like if you had a project and you want to revamp it, that's always good to do under Mercury retrograde. Okay, so Libra, it'll be a good month. Hello, Scorpio. So this month, May, we have Mercury and Venus moving into Gemini. So for you, this is a part of the chart that has to do with secrets that you know, joint finances, or any kind of income that is joint with somebody else, or kind of comes to you passively. This could be like retirement accounts, child support. This could be any kind of stream of money that is more indirect. And this also has to do with the psyche and the metaphysical as well. So this is a good time for therapy. This is also a good time for intimacy with a partner. You could have really good deep conversations right now with a partner if you are looking to do that. And we also have on May 11th, we have a new moon in your relationship area. So it's possible that there could be a new beginning on a relationship or a business partnership as well. Now, your relationship area has to do with business partnerships as well. So this could be a business partnership, or this could be a contract as well. So there could be a new beginning in any of these areas. Taurus has to do with money and values, so it's likely that the new beginning will have to do with values and money. So if you're looking for a new relationship, this is a good time to do that. On the same day, we will have Mars sextiling Uranus, so it is good to take action in a higher education setting, or perhaps like in a long distance matter, or somebody, or maybe like, you know, in a travel matter, but it looks like maybe even taking a trip with a romantic partner might kind of free you or make you feel like there's a new opportunity with this person. And also we have Mercury and the North Node in Gemini coming together right around the same time. So there could be a preview of what is to come, a message about the future. You might get it psychically, or you might just kind of see something that you're like, wait, what? And then, you know, you don't realize it, but it is something that's coming in the future, because the next eclipse, which is the solar eclipse, is going to happen in that same part of the chart that has to do with the joint income and having deep conversations romantically. Also, too, though, if you are in therapy, that is a really good time to kind of talk about your future as well. Okay, so on the 26th, we have a lunar eclipse. Now, a lunar eclipse tends to be an ending, a culmination, or a fulfillment, a high point. And Sagittarius has to do with our truth, our beliefs, philosophy, and our patterns. So a lunar eclipse, this lunar eclipse for you is happening in a part of the chart that has to do with income, how you make money, and your values. So it is likely that big changes are happening on this front for you. What you believed was true before is going not to be true for you anymore. There will be new truth. Whatever your beliefs were before will be changing, and your patterns will likely change as well, connected to values and connected to income. And then we have Saturn going retrograde on the 23rd, and that is happening in a part of the chart for you that has to do with your home or real estate. So it's possible that you could feel a blockage in this area, or something could sort of feel like it's in the way. You might have to take responsibility in this area. When Saturn stands still in the sky, we tend to feel it strongly. There could be karmic endings happening here. In this part of the sky, it has to do with family karma as well. So you could be looking at family patterns more closely, breaking maybe family patterns. And at the end of the month, Mercury is retrograde on the 29th, and that is happening again in that 8th house that has to do with money from other sources, joint money, and intimacy, and possibly even therapy. So again, really good time for therapy because you can recommunicate your thoughts. Anything you redo is going to be really good, even if you're looking at like your retirement and you're redoing your retirement, or you're redoing some kind of passive income that you have. Just don't start anything brand new when Mercury is in retrograde. Okay, Scorpio, I think it will be an interesting month. Hello, Sagittarius. So this month is a huge month for you because there's an eclipse in your sign. So very exciting. So we're going to start the month out talking about Venus and Mercury moving into a part of the sky that has to do with relationships for you. So if you are in a relationship, this is excellent for communication, spending time together, spending quality time together, getting to know each other. If you are not in a relationship, this would be a great time to get to know somebody or to find somebody to have great conversations with and to get to know better. On May 11th, we have a new moon, and this new moon is happening in a part of the chart for you that has to do with your health or your day-to-day work. So there could be new beginnings happening there. Taurus has to do with values. It has to do with money. But this new moon is making a positive connection to your home area. So perhaps you are starting a new cycle in your home. Maybe you are starting a new health regimen in the home, or maybe you are moving a romantic partner into your home, and that's changing your dynamics. But there is a new beginning here. It has to do with values and or money. And on the same day, we have Mars sextiling Uranus. So there is opportunity here for joint finances, and joint finances, maybe combining your finances with somebody else's, might in some way free you here. Or you might take actions in an intimate relationship, and that could maybe free you in some way. Maybe that would kind of change your either work environment, or maybe that would change your health and wellness, but in a good way somehow. Maybe you're taking action on combining incomes and that's giving you more freedom. That's always a possibility. But there is definitely a new beginning in the 6th house area of your chart. This also rules pets, so I suppose it's possible you could be getting a new pet as well. All right, and then we see Mercury is going to be conjunct the North Node in the area of relationships. So it's possible that you could get a glimpse of what's to come in your relationship. Also, too, if you're not in a relationship, you could be in some kind of business partnership, or there could be some kind of business contract, and you may get a glimpse about what is to come into the future from that. So just pay attention, because you will have an eclipse in this part of the sky next month, June. So definitely big, good stuff happening for you. So Sagittarius, on the 26th, you have a lunar eclipse in your 1st house. This is major stuff. So a lunar eclipse is a culmination, a fulfillment, or an ending. And because your sign has to do with beliefs, truth, philosophy, and this is happening in your 1st house, there could be a new truth about how other people see you, or there could be a culmination of how people see you, a fulfillment. Maybe you're being recognized for something. People are seeing you in a different way. But there's something different on the body, or on like your place, or on how people see you. And it's likely to be a high point, but something's changing like forever in this area. And it could have to do with relationships. Okay. I would love to know what is changing for you. Please let me know down in the comments below. And on the 23rd, we have Saturn retrograde. And that is happening in a part of the chart that has to do with short distance travel. It has to do with your communication skills. It has to do with your neighborhood. So you may have to take some kind of responsibility in that area. There might feel like maybe it feels like there's a blockage there in your communication or in your travel that you have to deal with, that you have to be responsible about. But it will pay off in the long run. And then we have Mercury retrograde on the 29th, which is for you happening in that same part of the chart that has to do with relationships. So if you are in a relationship, you could be just kind of, getting to know each other better, or there could be confusion because, Mercury retrograde a lot of times does bring some confusion. So, this is a time to slow down, kind of revamp how you communicate, especially if this is a brand new partner. You want to kind of sit down with them and say, okay, this is how I am when I say this, or, just so you kind of know each other's patterns and communication patterns, so you can understand each other better without sabotaging the relationship. But I'm really curious about that lunar eclipse, because that is important for you. Whenever the eclipses are in your sign, it is one door closing and another opening. For you, it's all about you. So what's changing for you, Sagittarius? Probably relationships, I'm going to guess. And I'm very excited to see where this leads you. You don't always feel it right on the eclipse, but you will feel it eventually. Okay, Sagittarius, let me know what happens. Hello, Capricorn. So this month we start out with Venus and Mercury moving into a part of the chart that has to do with your health or your day-to-day work routine. So it's possible that that work could seem a lot nicer now, or your health routine could be starting to really work for you, starting to make work really nice for you. It's wherever Venus goes, it tends to bring harmony. So harmony with coworkers, harmony in your health. Mercury is there as well, so you could be talking about your health more, collaborating with work people. And then we have a new moon for you in the 5th house. So there's likely a new beginning that has to do with creative projects, romantic partners, or your own children at home. There's likely to be a new cycle beginning. And it could have to do with, if it's children, they could be changing their values in their relationships. If it has to do with a creative project, there could be something being set up now, started. Or if it's a romantic partner, you could be starting a brand new relationship, which, this is a good time to do that. It is trine Neptune in your 1st house. So, excellent time in your 2nd house. Excellent time to take on a new project, maybe for some extra income. That is a good time to do that as well. But if this has to do with children, then I would say a new beginning on values, perhaps with children. And on the same day, Mars sextiles Uranus. So for you, this is relationships and children, or relationships and romantic partnerships. So it's possible that this would be a really good month for you to meet somebody, or if you already know this person and you want to take action and initiate something with them, this might be a really good time right around that new moon. And the North Node, right around the same time, the North Node in Gemini is conjunct Mercury. So it's possible that, the person, you might have some kind of message that kind of clues you into the future, maybe like a little foreshadowing, because you will have an eclipse in this part of the chart. So there could be, if you are interested in a relationship, it could be a coworker that expresses interest, or you express interest in them, and then, maybe you end up getting together. But there's a little glimpse of your future, so pay attention to that, because in that part of the sky you'll have an eclipse in June. But for this month, we have a lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house. So the 11th house has to do with friendships, groups we belong to, the internet, and how we kind of broadcast ourselves on the internet. But it also has to do with hopes, wishes, and dreams. So there could be a culmination or a high point, or an ending in this area. So you could be fulfilling a hope, wish, or a dream that you've had. There could be a high point on some income that you have made. It could be fulfillment. Or there could be an ending in a group that you belong to. Maybe a friendship group or an acquaintance group. Maybe, the time has come and you just no longer are going to be in that group anymore. Okay. And on the 23rd, we have Saturn going retrograde in your 2nd house. So this is likely to be money issues. So you may have to kind of, follow the rules, be responsible for something money-wise around this time. But, and values too. You may have to review your values and make sure that you are following and being ethical with your values. And then Mercury goes retrograde on the 29th, and that happens in that part of the sky that has to do with your coworkers and your day-to-day health regimen. So you want to make sure that you are, you might have to revamp your health regimen, like, whatever your health habits are, you may have to revamp them a little bit You may have to communicate to other people about what they are so that you are able to fulfill whatever you have to do during the day somehow. Don't start anything new when Mercury is in retrograde, but if you're revamping, that's okay. Could be work things as well that you're revamping, rethinking, recommunicating, getting a different point of view. But all in all, I think that you will enjoy this month. Thanks, Capricorn. Hello, Aquarius. So, this month we have Venus and Mercury moving into a part of the chart for you that has to do with romantic partnerships, children, and creative projects. So when Venus moves into a part of the chart that has to do with your children or romantic partners or creative projects, it tends to make that area really kind of nice. So if you are looking for a romantic partner, this is a wonderful time to find one. And if you are, if you have children, this might be a nice time to have nice conversations with them, to communicate about values, to have fun with them as well, because fifth house is fun. We also have creative projects that you could be working on now that would actually maybe even bring you more money too. So that's a possibility. And then on May 11th, we have the new moon. And the new moon for you happens in a part of the chart that has been very active for you over the past year. And that has to do with your home and family. So the new moon is a new beginning for you. It could have to do with money or your values in the home. So it is trine Neptune, and Neptune is in a part of the chart for you that has to do with money. So it could have to do with how you earn a living, and there could be a new beginning on that. You could have a new beginning on a path of income. The same day we have Mars sextile Uranus, and this is happening in a part of the chart for you that has to do with work. So actions that you take at work or in your day-to-day regimens, your routine, could actually free you somehow in that home area. It could even be that you are running a business out of your home. Could be something like that. You could be taking an opportunity that you work on every day to give yourself freedom by working in the home. But it's definitely tied to freedom with the home area. Mercury is also going to be conjuncting the North Node, and this is happening in that fifth house. So you could be getting a message about what is to come for you, because you will be having an eclipse next month, June, in this area of children, romantic partnerships, and creative projects. So there could be a glimpse of what is to come right around that new moon. Okay. And then on the 26th, we have the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So Sagittarius has to do with truth. It has to do with beliefs, and it has to do with patterns and philosophies. And a lunar eclipse is a fulfillment or an ending of some kind. It's a high point of culmination, and for you it has to do with friendship groups and hopes, wishes, and dreams, and networking. So it is possible that your beliefs on the groups that you hang out with or your acquaintances are changing. It's possible that a truth could come out now. Eclipses are known for releasing truths, and that would be in a friendship group or a group that you belong to. Or this could be a fulfillment of a hope, wish, or dream. Alternatively, it could be an ending in a hope, wish, or dream as well. And then we have Saturn, which does rule your sign, going retrograde in your first house. So it is possible, like right around the 23rd, that you will feel heavy energy, like you have to take responsibility for yourself. There's a lot of responsibility that you have to kind of take on, and there's a lot of rules and restrictions, but in the end it does pay off. But it's likely that you might feel that really strong around the 23rd. And Mercury does go retrograde on the 29th, so for you that's happening in that part of the sky that has to do with children, has to do with romantic relationships and creative projects. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it is a good time to slow down, to think about how you're communicating, what you're communicating, and not to start anything new when Mercury goes retrograde, but to kind of redo what you have already started. Okay, Aquarius. Have a great May. Hello, Pisces. So for May, we start out with Venus and Mercury moving into your house of home and family and real estate. So it is possible that the home becomes very nice, because wherever Venus goes, harmony follows. It is possible that you could make a deal with real estate now, with Venus being there. If you are trying to sell or buy, you could get, you could maybe hash out a good deal. And we also have a new moon on May 11th, and this is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with communications, short distance travel, friends, cousins, siblings, neighbors, and your thoughts. So, maybe you are going to start something new with your communication or your travel, or even a new neighborhood if you are moving. And this has to do with, Taurus's values and material things. So things are shaking free in this area anyway. So there is just a new beginning. Like I said, it's either values or it has to do with, it could even be like money, maybe from a skill that you've learned, and now you're starting a new beginning on some kind of skill. Or it could be like the internet. Maybe you're making money on the internet. There's something here. Probably has to do with technology of some kind. But anyway, that is a new beginning, so set your intentions. So Mars sextiles Uranus on the same day. So for you, this has to do with romantic partnerships, children, and creative projects. And again, that same area of communication or technology. So it's possible that you could be starting a creative project at home. You could be doing something on the internet. If you are looking to make more money on the internet, selling something that you're doing for a hobby, this is probably a good time. If your children are doing something on the internet, there might be opportunity for them as well, or even like a creative project of some kind of turning into money. Could be another income source as well. All right, and then Mercury is going to meet the North Node in that home and family area. So it's possible that you could get a glimpse or a message about your future, because in June you're going to have an eclipse in the home area. So if you are looking to move or you are looking to sell, that could all happen next month. It's something in the home area, probably a new beginning. Okay, and then we have a lunar eclipse this month on the 26th in your career area. So things are getting shooken up in the career status and home area. So things are changing big time there. So if your status, you know, as a wife or as a husband or whomever you are, whatever you're known for, that could be coming to an end, and a new status can be arising. There's definitely change. It could be a fulfillment too, like maybe you're getting a new job, or you know, you're leaving a job but for a better job, and maybe somebody's recognizing something you've done at work. So this is nice. But there's some kind of high point or culmination happening at that eclipse in the 10th house on the 26th. And then, well, on the 23rd, we have Saturn going retrograde in your 12th house. So, you know, taking responsibility for, I would say, your spiritual life. Karmic endings, perhaps. You know, this might be tied into that eclipse too. The eclipse has to do with, you know, your beliefs, your truth, philosophies, and that could be changing with your status. And with Saturn in retrograde in your 12th house, the 12th house is sort of hidden, but it's also your connection with spirit. So there might be like karmic ending happening here. And maybe you have to take some kind of responsibility for that. And then on the 29th, we have Mercury going retrograde, and that's happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with home. So you might be rethinking home. You might be rethinking how you're decorating. You might be rethinking maybe your family patterns. 4th house is family karma as well. But maybe you're rethinking these. Maybe you're reevaluating. So I wouldn't do anything new with Mercury retrograde there, but if you want to re-communicate or redecorate or something in your home area, that's a good time to revisit a contract, maybe in the home or with real estate. It's a good time to do that. I'm very curious how that eclipse plays out for you. So let me know in the comments. That new moon, I think that new moon could have people looking at you in a very different but very nice way as well. Thank you, Pisces. Have a great month.